Today is a big day. Today is the focus on economic resilience, on business, on investment opportunities, and also how we pay for the reconstruction of Ukraine. And Ukraine House Davos is offering the solution and offering that important information for policymakers and for others to understand. We are back.
It was a very expansive and wide-ranging conversation. It covered everything from humanitarian aid in Ukraine to policy orientation and objectives, in particular with the United States, but also talked about the human aspect of what Ukraine is experiencing and how we, as fellow humans, can help Ukraine tell stories, because there's so many that need to be told, to connect with people who maybe don't necessarily follow along or have a stake in what's happening in Ukraine, but we need them to be paying attention. I want to continue to make sure that advocates, Ukrainian or otherwise, are equipped with the ability to tell those stories in a way that's going to connect, that's going to be meaningful, and that's going to drive change.
We had a panel about opportunities which critical raw materials create for Ukraine. And it is not possible to win the peace without having very strong foundation for economic growth, economic development. It's also very clear that this economic growth cannot be achieved without very strong collaboration in Ukraine with international allies and without building integrated value chains between Ukraine, Europe and the US.
Ukraine is a reliable and a very good partner in critical raw materials. Ukraine will be the future economy in terms of critical raw materials for the whole democratic world. Davos is a very important platform actually to show the real possibility and the real necessity of the project of Ukraine.
I had a fantastic opportunity to share as a speaker on the investment panel where we talked about those who are investing today in Ukraine. We were all motivating to come to Ukraine now, not to wait. Start building relationships. There's a robust, economic, resilient climate on the ground in Ukraine today.
My colleagues from the panel, they were from the banking sector and the investment fund sector. I think it was quite obvious that the mood is changing. But I think it's also very important not only to focus on the investment, that was my task, on the operational performance of the existing companies. When we sell our products to the end customers in Europe, North America, or any other overseas countries.
This panel is about frozen Russian state assets.
The single most important thing that could happen right now for Ukraine, it's absolutely obvious to me, it's this 300 billion. Everything else is secondary. If this 300 billion is confiscated, this then gives Ukraine an opportunity to win. If the 300 billion isn't confiscated, then what happens? At some point, the West is going to run out of patience and money for Ukraine.
So the question really isn't whether Russia will pay, the question is when, and when we will make Russia pay. We already have the precedent, we already have the legal foundation, and really what government officials need to do is make the decision to finally use it, and they are in the best position now to do that.
This is our 7th year putting on Ukraine House. We're so grateful for everyone who puts this together to do this for Ukraine, to do it because of a mission and a purpose, a passion about the country, and wanting to share it with the world at WEF, and we're very proud of the work that we've done.